The circumstances leading to Kat's death are incredibly suspicious, and no one can seem to settle on one honest answer. Many believe it was an accident, while others think it was her own husband who did it. Kathleen Dawn West was born in Tampa, Florida on February 15, 1975. Everyone who was close to her called her Kat, as it just fit her personality better. She was known by her friends as a bright ball of energy who was always the life of the party. Kat was a very free spirit who loved the attention and being seen. She felt very comfortable in her skin and was just overall a confident person. Despite all of this, she did struggle with depression and was seeking help for it. In 2004, Kat met a man named Jeff West. Jeff was in the military and worked as a recruiter. They met at a Super Bowl party and hit it off, and started dating soon after. Jeff was attracted to many things about Kat, one of them being that she looked super similar to Marilyn Monroe. Kat was obsessed with Marilyn and wanted to update her look to match the part. The two got married in Vegas just 4 months after meeting each other. Once they tied the knot, married life started up, and soon after, so did parenthood. In 2005, Kat gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, which the couple named Logan. Eventually, in 2014, they settled in Calera, Alabama, where Jeff picked up a job working as a security officer at Birmingham Southern College. Things were going fine, and their family saw how happy Kat and Jeff looked on their social media accounts. But there was a part of Kat that wanted to explore options. That's when Kat decided to start up an online subscription service through Onlyfans. Members subscribe to the creators they enjoy the most and pay to unlock exclusive content. The site also allows members to contact their favorite creators over a direct message board and even request specific services. She posted lots of photos of herself in suggestive poses, looking flirty and cute, wearing costumes and lingerie, and tons of people flocked to her page. Jeff was not only completely aware of what Kat was doing online, he was all for it. He was very supportive of her new endeavor and would help her, taking photos of her and posting them on her page. There was a point in time when Kat desired plastic surgery, and Jeff, once again, was totally supportive of it. So now, the evening of January 12, 2018, Jeff and Kat left their home and went to a Papados seafood kitchen where they enjoyed dinner and a couple of alcoholic beverages. After that, they left the restaurant and headed over to Red Zone Bar and Grill, where they had more alcohol. The two wrapped up their date night and decided to stop at a liquor store called R&R Wine and Liquor. Security footage shows the two being flirty, and the vibes seemed to be great. When they got home, Kat changed into a pink bra and pink stilettos and asked Jeff to take pictures of her, to which he agreed. They continued to drink, having about 6 more beverages each and finishing off their bottle of absinthe. As the night progressed, the two started to bicker back and forth. Jeff got upset that Kat was spending a ton of time on her phone and not paying attention to him. After trying for some time to get her off her phone, he grabbed it out of her hands, opened the front door, and threw it. He decided the night was over and headed off to bed. Kat opened the front door to look for her cell phone and left the front door open. At around 5 in the morning, a neighbor from down the street came across a body. Next to the body was a cell phone with an empty bottle of absinthe balancing on top. Once the police arrived, it was clear that that was the body of Kat West. The cops started their investigation, looked at the area, gathered evidence, and went to speak with Jeff. That's when they gave him the news that his wife was deceased. Jeff didn't really react to the news. He seemed relatively calm. At first, it seemed like this was a pretty straightforward case. Kat had been drinking a lot, stumbled outside with the bottle, hit her head on the ground, and passed away. Her skull had been fractured, and her blood alcohol content was 3 times past the legal limit. However, when the investigators started looking closer, something seemed off. The bottle of absinthe was placed on top of Kat's phone, and it looked a little too staged. Jeff was brought back to the station for questioning, where he stayed for around 6 hours. The authorities also looked into the possibility that someone, specifically a member of her Onlyfans, had stalked or harmed her somehow, but there was no evidence to suggest anything like that had occurred. Jeff was very cooperative during the interview and explained that he and Kat had been drinking the night before and got into an argument. He said he woke up when he heard the dogs barking and all the police commotion outside. However, this is believed to be a little shady and not entirely true. Apparently, the neighbor that called 911 saw Jeff pacing back and forth in the house while she called for emergency help. And the bottom of the bottle had a few splotches of blood and was missing a small piece of glass, which was never found. Jeff and Kat both had the health app installed on their phones, which tracked their steps and daily movements. On Kat's phone, it showed that the last time she moved was between 10:45 and 10:54 on January 12th, with a distance of 0.04 miles. No other movement was recorded except when police obtained the phone for evidence. Jeff's movements were tracked as follows. At 10:17 p.m., he took 10 steps. Then, he told the authorities that he went to bed around 10:30 p.m. But there was movement from 11:03 to 11:10 p.m., when he took 18 steps. In the morning, Jeff took 59 steps from 5:12 to 5:22 a.m. Those 59 steps, however, were unaccounted for. Further into the investigation, the police looked through old text messages between Jeff and Kat. Lots of nude photos were sent to Jeff from Kat, where he expressed delight in saying things like, "Looking good, hot mama." But 8 days before her death, Kat had sent Jeff some interesting texts. She sent messages to Jeff saying, "I know you're scared to tell me you don't want to be with me, but it's only hurting me more by lying." On Thursday, February 22nd, 2018, Jeff West was arrested and charged with the murder of his wife, Kat West. His bond was set at a whopping $500,000. The trial began, and prosecutors were out in full force trying to pin this crime on Jeff. They said Jeff was angry because of the lack of attention he was receiving, and that Kat's Onlyfans career made him jealous. When Kat went outside to grab her phone, he picked up the bottle of absinthe, followed her out, and struck her down. When the prosecution tried to say his reaction to his wife's passing was off, the defense team reminded them that Jeff was a trained soldier. Soldiers are trained to keep their emotions in check, even in the most stressful, terrifying situations. The defense claimed that Kat was drunk, fell down, which explains the first small pool of blood, got back up, and collapsed again. She hit her head, and that was it. It was all an accident. Then, the parents of Kat and Jeff were called to the stand. Neither of them believed that Jeff was responsible for Kat's death. Nancy, Kat's mother, said he's a good man and he didn't do this. And I absolutely believe this with all my heart because I know what we went through after she passed away. He lived with me. We went to the funeral home together. We saw her body together. I saw him. You can't fake what he went through when we were all at the funeral home crying and saying that this can't be real. On November 20th, 2020, the jury concluded that Jeff West was guilty of manslaughter. Judge William Bostick sentenced Jeff to serve 16 years in prison.